recognized for the remainder of the hour.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, according to a 2009 study by the Pew Hispanic Center, 7.8 million illegal aliens hold jobs in America. Madam Speaker, there is a surefire way to create jobs now for American citizens. Evict all illegal aliens from America and immediately open up millions of jobs for unemployed Americans. The eviction of illegal aliens from America has the side benefit of eliminating the abundance of cheap illegal alien labor, which in turn forces blue-collar wages up, thus helping American families afford and pursue the American dream. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, there are those in Washington who chase a different dream, a class warfare nightmare that pits unemployed Americans against illegal aliens in a competition for scarce jobs. The White House and too many members of Congress seek amnesty for millions of illegal aliens, thereby legitimizing criminal conduct and depriving American citizens of job opportunities. Madam Speaker, Congress and the White House must create jobs now for American citizens. We can and must fight for American citizens, not turn our heads the other way, which gives illegal aliens preference over American citizens. But the issue of illegal aliens is greater than just jobs and better incomes for American citizens. Illegal aliens crowd our hospital emergency rooms, delaying treatment for Americans and driving up health care costs because too many illegal aliens don't pay their bills. Too often, illegal aliens get free health care on the backs of already stressed American taxpayers. Illegal aliens also do not produce enough in tax revenue to pay for our schools. Yet illegal alien children overcrowd our schools, thereby reducing the quality of education for American children. Illegal aliens commit horrendous crimes against American citizens, crimes that strain state and federal judicial systems, police and sheriff departments, and prisons that are already overcrowded and in a financial crisis. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, in one of her last Supreme Court opinions, wrote in 2005 in Medellin v. Dretke that, quote, in 2003, over 56,000 non-citizens were held in state prisons. Non-citizens accounted for over 10% of the prison populations in California, New York, and Arizona. As of February 2005, 119 non-citizens from 31 nations were on state death rows. Madam Speaker, so that I am clear, let me emphasize that death row is not just for any kind of murderer. Death row is for murders where victims are tortured or raped before killed. Death row is for murders where multiple citizens are killed. In some, death row is reserved for only the most heinous of murderers. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans are dead today because the United States government has been derelict in its duty to protect American citizens from illegal aliens. For example, in my home of Madison County, Alabama, population roughly 300,000 people, we have had more American citizens killed or murdered by illegal aliens than we have had lost in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Madam Speaker, let me share with you a personal story that happens to have happened in Huntsville, Alabama, but the truth be told, similar events have likely happened throughout America. On April 17, 2009, a 19-year-old man in my hometown of Huntsville by the name of Tad Matal was needlessly killed by an illegal alien who has since been convicted of murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison at a cost to Alabama taxpayers well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that we are clear about the illegal alien's conduct, he was drunk. He was wanted for crimes in several states. When he murdered Tad Matal, he was fleeing the scene of yet another crime. What had Tad Matal done wrong? Absolutely nothing. Tad Matal was driving home from a church social with his girlfriend. He was lawfully stopped at an intersection not far from my own home. After everything was said and done, at the end of an illegal alien's crime spree, both Tad Matal and his girlfriend were subject to force trauma and burned beyond recognition. Both died. Why did this needless crime occur? Why were these two young persons' lives snuffed out? Because our American government has steadfastly failed and refused to protect American citizens from illegal aliens. Madam Speaker, please let me share with you information about Tad Matal, told in the words of his grieving father, Dan Matal, and I quote, "Tad Matal was the first child of Dan and Terry Matal, born on November 8, 1989, in Florissant, Missouri. Tad was very curious and enjoyed figuring out how things worked. Shortly after his parents installed safety locks on all the cupboards, he figured them out and then taught his little brother how to defeat them. He loved to play outside in the dirt and loved the water. He enjoyed trying different sports. More than anything, however, he loved building and creating. To the frustration of his parents, he would scatter Legos all over the floor as he created ships, starships, and planes. On family vacations, he reveled in the sand as he built sandcastles. When he was 8 years old, he helped his father rebuild an engine on the family truck. At age 9, Tad Matal and his family moved back to Huntsville, Alabama. Being very social, he quickly made new friends at church and school. In Cub Scouts, he achieved the Arrow of Light Award. In his last year, he won the PAC Pinewood Derby contest. In middle school, Tad joined the Boy Scouts and joined the school band as a percussionist. Tad thoroughly enjoyed making music, and he kept switching between first and second chair with one of his friends. During a scout trip in this period, Tad went caving with his father. By the time he was 13, he was a qualified vertical caver. By age 14, he had achieved a prestigious award among the caving community by completing his vertical 8. In high school, Tad Matal became heavily involved in the marching and symphonic bands. In his last 2 years, he served as a percussion section leader. Tad also pursued an advanced diploma by taking advanced placement science and math classes. In addition to these activities, he continued serving the community through Boy Scout and church youth group service projects. With his troop, in which he served as a leader, he participated in many different activities. On a Boy Scout trip hike on the Appalachian Trail, Tad helped maintain morale with his goofy sense of humor. Tad is especially remembered for his Julie Andrews impersonation as he skipped down a meadow on Siler Bald wearing a 40-pound backpack while the troop sang The Sound of Music. Tad was very excited when he became old enough to drive. He wanted his own car, so he took a job to earn money for it. He bought a neglected Toyota Supra that cost only $475. He spent the next few months restoring it to running condition. In his junior year of high school, Tad took an auto body collision repair course and completely restored the body of that car. He was so proud on the day he brought it home from the paint booth. He took meticulous care of that car and never abused it because he did not want to destroy all of his hard work. During his senior year of high school, Tad achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. For his Eagle Leadership Service project, he chose to rebuild a boat dock at the Madison County Boat Harbor on the Tennessee River. The original dock was a hazard to users due to warped, splintered, and rotten boards. Tad's leadership resulted in 190 man-hours of volunteer labor that saved the county thousands of dollars. In 2008, Tad graduated from high school with an advanced diploma. His dream was to work in an auto body collision repair and open his own shop. As he worked the following summer and winter, he realized that an education would be necessary to fulfill his dream. Tad applied to the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and with his excellent top 1% ACT score of 32, he was quickly accepted. On April 14, 2009, just 3 days before his murder, Tad received a letter awarding him the UAH Presidential Full Scholarship, which covered all tuition for his mechanical engineering degree. Tad was so excited as he read this letter to his parents that night. Excuse me, Madam Speaker. 3 days later, on April 17, 2009, his father's birthday, Tad attended a church social with his family and girlfriend. After the social, he and his girlfriend headed to her cousin's house to watch a movie. While stopped at a traffic light, Tad's car was rammed by a truck driven by a drunk illegal immigrant who was fleeing from the police. Tad and his girlfriend were killed instantly, which was a blessing because the impact ruptured the gas tank of the car Tad had so meticulously restored and burned the two beyond recognition. There were no skid marks from the drunken driver's vehicle, and accident investigations indicated the truck impacted between 67 and 72 miles per hour, almost double the legal speed limit. The illegal immigrant responsible for this crash had 7 different aliases, had 4 prior DUI arrests, and was wanted by at least 4 other states for misdemeanors and felonies. According to police records, he was to have been deported in 2001. Let me reread that part for emphasis. The illegal immigrant responsible for this crash had 7 different aliases, had 4 prior DUI arrests, and was wanted by at least 4 other states for misdemeanors and felonies. According to police records, he was to have been deported in 2001. Tad left behind a family that still mourns his loss. His brother and sister have dealt with depression, nightmares, and guilt. His mother still deals with days of depression. This loss was completely unnecessary, but occurred because of a failure of the federal government to perform its duty to protect legal citizens' rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As Tad's father, all I ask is that the government perform its constitutional obligations to its citizens to prevent other families from experiencing this same nightmare. End quote. From Dan Matal, Tad's father. Madam Speaker, Tad Matal's tragic story is one that I could tell here today, one of many that I could tell here today. And his story illustrates so clearly why the federal government must stop being derelict in its duty to ensure the safety and security of American citizens. There are many Tad Matals in America, each and every one of them victims of crimes that could have been prevented. In that vein, I introduced the Jobs for American Act. It empowers state and local governments to help the federal government by passing laws that identify illegal aliens, deter illegal aliens from entering the United States, apprehend illegal aliens, or encourage or otherwise cause illegal aliens to leave the United States. States aren't asking for another federal handout. They're asking for freedom from federal interference. They're asking for the freedom to protect their citizens' lives and livelihoods. This act ensures that the federal government will appreciate, not punish, states that do the hard work of enforcing our laws. Madam Speaker, when states like Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, and many others act to stop illegal aliens, they should be given letters of appreciation from Washington leaders for doing Washington's job. Instead, they receive lawsuits from the President's Justice Department. That's wrong. And the Justice Department's conduct will only victimize more American citizens. Madam Speaker, my Jobs for Americans Act prevents these wasteful Justice Department lawsuits against states that are only trying to protect their citizens from illegal aliens and the federal government's dereliction of its duties. Today, I ask my colleagues to join me in supporting American jobs. The Jobs for American Act does just what it says. It returns jobs to the American people. Its premise is simple. If the federal government won't do its job, it should get out of the way for states and those who will. Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this point, I yield to my good colleague from Alabama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to congratulate the gentleman from Alabama, my colleague and the